Hurricane Florence is fast approaching. It's going to be here over the next 48 hours, and they say it's about as big as they've seen coming to this country, and certainly to the East Coast, as they've ever seen. We'll handle it. We're ready. We're able. We've got the finest people, I think, anywhere in the world. FEMA and first responders are out there. They're going to stand through the danger of this storm. Get out of its way. Don't play games with it. It's a big one. Maybe as big as they've seen. And tremendous amounts of water. The storm will come, it will go. We want everybody to be safe. We're fully prepared. Food, medical, everything you can imagine, we are ready. But despite that, bad things can happen when you're talking about a storm this size. It's called Mother Nature. You never know, but we know. We love you all. We want you safe. Get out of the storm's way. Listen to your local representatives. South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, it's heading your way. It's probably not going to change path. It's going to be hitting pretty soon. Be ready, and God be with you.
Today in New Orleans, they got a lot tougher on the holdouts.
Police department, everyone home!
Not only the flooded areas, but New Orleans' driest and wealthiest neighborhoods too.
As our fellow Americans on the East Coast prepare for a potential disaster, and as we watch this monster form in the Atlantic and hurl itself toward the eastern coastline, I felt like it was necessary to remind you that an even more insidious monster looms over our heads like a ceaseless and merciless storm. The federal and state officials during Katrina confiscated all weapons and essentially declared martial law as they went from house to house arresting people and taking their firearms they were using to protect their homes from looters.
Sometimes entering open houses with guns drawn and instructions to disarm anyone inside.
You say guns will be taken?
And no one will be able to be armed. We will take all weapons.
There's never a legitimate reason for one individual or a group of individuals to force his will on a peaceful person who just wants to be left alone, even if they're in a dangerous situation. No matter the disaster, you can't rightly suspend the individual rights of anybody. Remember, politicians and government agents will attempt to capitalize on any crisis.
The chief of staff for President Obama is an old friend of mine and my husband's, and was in the White House when Bill was there, and he said, you know, never waste a good crisis.
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste. And what I mean by that, it's an opportunity to do things that you think you could not do before.
Another thing people need to keep in mind as Hurricane Florence nears the East Coast is the number of nuclear power reactor facilities that could be jeopardized and may have to be shut down. An estimated 10 to 20 million people are said to be directly affected by this storm. And shutting down these reactors will cause a massive loss of power for a lot of people. Guys, if you're planning on staying and weathering the storm, which is not advisable, one of the best things you can do is stock up on fresh water and make sure all your food is locked away in storage containers. And you definitely want to arm yourself. Because realistically speaking, there are people out there at this moment who are planning massive raids on people's homes. This is their chance to also capitalize on a crisis situation. As people evacuate, these people stay behind to help themselves to the valuables of others. Guys, if you live in these areas that are about to be hit, take care of yourselves and your families first and foremost. And if you are in one of these areas and you have a chance, let us know in the comments section how things are going with you. This storm looks like it's no joke. Don't take any chances with your life.